They say, at least in my area, it's supposed to go down to like 29. Oh, there's planes flying out from Selfridge. I'm on County Line Road, headed west, back home. I just got done doing a hosta division, and it was like 2-foot clumps of plants that I divided out into 16 smaller size, like maybe a gallon size plants to go along a row near a barn. It looks really nice. And then there were still a couple good sized clumps that I didn't have room for in that particular area that the customer gets to get. So free plants. So this is the time to divide your hostas if you can. The leaves, when I saw the other day, the points were just coming out maybe a couple inches, and when I came back today, the leaves are about 3-4 inches, but they're still rolled up. So it's a great time to divide them. They don't mind it. You can manhandle them. They'll do fine. And basically, you dig the clump out, put it in a wheelbarrow. You take your saw. Do I have my saw? Yeah, I have my saw. You take your saw and you find, like, you can kind of see they're like in groups. They kind of grow together in groups. And you find a place where you can divide it, and you just start sawing. You let the saw do the work. You might have to put a pointy shovel down to kind of pry them apart. And then remove as much dirt as you can off the roots so you can kind of see the roots. And they're probably the ones I was working on, the roots were really long. These are hostas. The roots were really, really long. Very dry because it's cold and it's been winter time. And we haven't had a lot of rain in that area particularly. And so because the roots were long, I cut them back to about maybe 2 inches, just straight across the top, or straight across the bottom, like a haircut, the roots. I didn't do anything with the leaves, because like I said, the leaves are still curled up. I tried to not, manhandle them. And then I put them in the holes. The soil was kind of clay, but kind of loose too. It was both. If there are clay chunks, I didn't put those back in there. And then backfilled with compost. So the holes were like this, the plants were like this, and then I backfilled with compost, and then I replaced the native soil, and I put them, you had to kind of pull them a couple times to make sure they were at least level with the soil. But the thing with hostas, when you're going to divide hostas, is when you pull them out of the ground and you start taking the dirt, the soil away from the plants, you can see what you're doing. They look really white at the bottom, maybe the bottom inch and a half is really white, and that's because it's been under the soil. So when you put them back, you don't want to put them back like right at the leaf, where the leaf comes off the plant. You don't want to put them there because that's too shallow. You actually want to go to the top of the white part. All of that should be soil. So you're going to put them back, you're going to cover them back up again, just like you got them out. And cover up the white part that was under the soil. This is for dividing hostas. But to get 16 plants and to be able to evenly space them in a row so they're going to look so nice, it's going to look kind of formal, and it's going to look elegant. It's going to look really nice. And then she had some the small spring bulbs. They look like squill, that were kind of intermingled with grasses and some other things, which I wasn't so thrilled about pulling those out, because they already were done blooming, nearly done blooming. But it just was like, oh, there's just so much other junk that was like around them, that I did get a couple clumps. I saved a couple clumps, because what they're doing is they're renovating that whole area. So they wanted to rescue the hostas and rescue the little blue flower plants. And so I did get some chunks for her and put them in a place where she'll see them all the time. And they're so small and dainty that you got to kind of put them where you can see them. Otherwise, it's not worth it. But anyway, like I said, it's going to be really cold tonight. It's 7 o'clock right now at night. Driving home, and because it's going to be so cold, all I did is I pushed down the soil. I made my little berm that I usually do, that I call the magic circle, and that's to capture water. But I did not water them in tonight. The soil is moist enough and cool enough, the roots aren't going to get hurt. But what I didn't want to do is water them in and then the ground freeze around them and kill them off. So just being in the loose soil and the compost is going to be just fine for them right now. And then I told the customer that they should water them like tomorrow when it warms up just a little bit. And just like around the root zone, just to make sure the soil settles in. And then, I forgot to tell her, but when she waters the soil, then once it settles in, if there's pockets that kind of dip down, then she should take some more compost and just kind of sprinkle it around the plants to make it even. So, dividing hostas, yes, I did it tonight. And I did not water them in. I told the customer to do that tomorrow. But, you know, it's so fun. I love doing this stuff. Love doing this stuff. And like I said, the client had 16 clumps that I was able to use in a nice, elegant, formal style. And then she had at least 3 really large clumps left. I tried to cut them up a little bit so she could just put them where she wants them. And they're kind of just sitting out in the yard alongside like one of their gardens. So it's going to be cool enough that those things are they're hostas. Hostas are very difficult to kill. They just love to grow. They're super easy to divide. And I'm going to be doing a couple shorts on the divisions of hostas because it's just so fun. And they're an easy plant for beginners to take care of. So if you're a beginner or if you're looking for something for shady spots, they really like to be best. They like it best in shade. They do better in shade. Then hostas are the things to do, to put in, but the caution is that deer like hosta, usually. So if you're gonna plant them, I would plant them in somewhere shady that's near your house. So like where you're coming and going a lot, so the deer are less likely to bother them. But if deer are not an issue, then plant away. And speaking of deer, there's some, oh no, those are, oh my goodness, there's some sandhill cranes in the field over there. That's cool. That was not deer. I was like, what is that? Is that a plant? What is that? No, sandhill crane. Anyway, I'm geeked about it. I love to do this stuff. I love it, love it, love it. Really enjoy it. I really enjoy the economy too of it, the thrift of it, that, you know, you start with these stands of hostas that are just way too crowded because they're really old. They've not been divided before. And when you dig them out, then you can divide them and space them, and then they really get to grow and grow and grow better. I'm going to see if I can find that thing. I'm going to switch it around, see if you guys can see it. Be very quiet. We're sneaking up on it. See if we can sneak up on this thing I saw in the field. It's by a goose. Yes, it's by a goose. It's by a goose. We shouldn't run away. There's the goose right there. Oh, I think it got it. I think it flew off. Or did it? No, it's right there. It is right. It is right there. You guys can't see it. Unless I get out. I could get out and harass it. I'm not going to harass it, but I just want you to see it because it's so cool. Okay, so brake is on. Car is unlocked. I won't get locked out, but I want you to see this because I saw it and I want you to see it. So let me see if I can find a spot that you can see it. There it is. You see it? Right here. Right here. Could I zoom? Sandhill crane. You see it? There it is. Look at that thing. Isn't it cool? That's a sandhill crane. You see these a lot in Kensington Metro Park. Where there's one, there's usually more. I just don't see any more. I just see geese with them. So the sandhill crane, some geese. Anyway, I'm an avid bird watcher too, can you tell? So I had to make sure that you guys saw that too. And then I wasn't just making it up. Because sometimes I'll see something and I would point it out to my family and they'd be like, well, we didn't see it, so it doesn't count. I'm like, no, now you saw it. So it does count. Anyway. Yes, I'm a dork. But you know what? That's what life is about. Sometimes life is about turning around to see things. One time we were driving down 24 Mile and my husband saw an eagle up on a post, and it was like not that far from our house, which on one hand was so exciting because it was an eagle, and I was like, oh, close up in the wild, not like going to Kensington and going where the eagles like to make their nests, but it was like a real eagle. But then on the other hand, I was like, oh my gosh, the chickens. They're gonna eat the chickens. So let me just see if I can flip it around again. Yeah, you can't see it from here because it's behind those rushes there, and it blends right in with the fields, so it's harder to see. But anyway, just coming home from this job. That's not a job. I love it. If you love what you do, is it work? I don't think it is. Oh, it's right. Yeah, you can't see it. It's. Oh, you can't see it. It's look right behind these. Now, anyway, I'll just leave you with a nice, peaceful scene. Here, let me squeeze out. Here we go. Nice, peaceful scene. And this has been Tammy Lowe, the Lazy Northern Gardener, returning home from a wonderful job dividing hostas for clients and rescuing hostas and rescuing her little spring flowers. And I hope you all stay warm. Spring is really coming. The growing season is really coming. And I love you all. And happy Tuesday. Bye.